BitIndia is a great example of exchange abuse. My name is Michael or Kubera. Thanks so much for joining us in today. I am also going to share my own personal experience of an exchange reaching out to me. Great. Stay tuned. I received an email, which unfortunately I couldn't find, from an exchange that wanted to list our token. I worked with an ICO previously, and everybody wants to be listed on exchanges. Fantastic. However, there's a difference between an exchange that isn't going to provide you any value and one that will actually give you volume, new community members, blah, blah, blah. It's really nice to be on this type of exchange. However, to be on the upper echelon, the tier 1 exchanges that get millions of visitors daily, you need to pay either hefty fees, know somebody in there, have extreme amount of hype, already been operating for quite a bit with many of other exchanges, no problems, team's all good, community's all good, or all of them combined. And you still might have a chance of getting delisted. If you look into Bitrex's terms of service and this long little pamphlet that I had to read through, I saw that if you have low volume or no volume for like 5 days in a row, boom, you're getting delisted. If you do, I mean, there's like 20 different reasons for why you could get your coin delisted. Then you'd have to go through an appeals process, and it gets complex. So the main thing to keep in mind is you have to have a coin that has a lot of volume on one exchange, and then move on to a second and third and fourth, and from there, so forth. Now, in order to get on any exchange, especially if you have nothing, well, most likely you're going to have money, even if it is a smaller exchange. So when I received this email and they asked, it seemed pretty good, the email itself, the content, oh, okay, all right, I get it. They asked for a couple $1,000s. I thought at first glance, it doesn't seem like a bad deal. Sure, why not? But first, let me do my research. So I went to Alexa, I went to Worth of Web, and discovered that they get 300 visits daily, which is absurd. So I wrote them back saying they should pay me because my video alone, if I made one against them, would get 3-4 times that in a day, right? The chances of someone out of 300 using that exchange, purchasing or selling your coin on there is extremely slim. There's exchanges with over 100,000 daily visits that there's zero volume on a lot of coins out there. So when you compare that to something that gets not even 500 visits daily, it was not worth $1,000 even. I wouldn't even pay $1 for that. They should list us for free. They'd be doing us a favor at that point. We would be bringing them traffic, like, duh. That experience itself scarred me, and I guess it was kind of in my memory when I saw this whole BitIndia thing. And that's what we're talking about today, where pretty much they were trying to screw over the Deep Onion community. Now, getting a token that's not an ERC20 listed is a little bit difficult. For those of you that don't know, ERC20s, I mean, it's just really easy. It's like a copy-paste. You got to change a couple elements around, and exchanges decide, well, why waste money and time and effort with these larger coins? Unless they're super hyped and they're paying a bunch of money, like we're mainly focusing on the easier versions, right? I mean, everybody would be thinking logically like that. So for Deep Onion, it's a little bit difficult, but there's a good community, and as long as there's going to be an increase of volume over the next couple of months, sure, there's going to be more exchanges that are going to be popping up on. Deep Onion needs to focus on the larger exchanges though, because with BitIndia, that was a great example. I took a long list of exchanges that Deep Onion was on, and some were as low as the 300. I think it was a different exchange than the one that emailed me. And some were as high as 3-4 million visits every single day. KuCoin and Cryptopia, those were fantastic. There was the ones with a couple 100,000 visits daily, and sure, that's all right. And where did BitIndia place out of all of them? It wasn't the last, it wasn't the second to last, but it was the third to last, and not by much, right? BitIndia asked for 5 Bitcoin to get listed. So here's the whole old deal. First of all, they chose a list of coins out there that the community was supposed to vote on. And this vote was supposed to be a week, 7 days, and from the very beginning, it did say tokens or coins. So keep that in mind, that's an important element right there. It went from 7 days to 13 days. It's okay, it's nearly 2 weeks, 1 week difference, whatever. The thing that sucks is Deep Onion won, and the community was super active. They even tweeted out about Deep Onion. BitIndia tweeted out about Deep Onion, and the community was in touch with BitIndia. And I guess when you win, you'd think, hey, we're going to get listed now, right? Well, that's what everybody thought. until BitIndia reached out to DeepIndia and said you need to pay 5 Bitcoin. And not only that, but they reached out to other communities, multiple others, saying 5 Bitcoin, 5 Bitcoin. For those of you who are looking at this video right now, 5 Bitcoin is valued at $6,500. So we're talking about an easy 5 figures, and BitIndia is asking ding, 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 ding. Now, if BitIndia had 1 million visitors daily, I'd be thinking a little bit differently about that, because especially for just India itself, it would be geo-locally targeted. There is the concern that India itself is against cryptocurrency, so I'm not sure how that would play out, but let's just forget about that. However, they don't get 500,000, 100,000, 10,000. They get 6,000 daily visitors, which is nothing, because the chances of just even one person going on there, I mean, it would take years and years to recoup the 5 Bitcoin, if ever. No, probably it wouldn't happen, right? So it's just a silly investment. Now, to give you perspective on the situation, it's not necessarily scammy to try and get people to pay you money to get a listing. Everybody does that, or most people do that. I mean, I saw the bias, obviously, when I was talking with a lot of ICO CEOs out there. Some people were saying that to get on a certain exchange, they paid $0. Others said they paid $500,000. That's a $500,000 difference just because you had connections, or the exchange owner liked you, or something like that. Whatever, that's how it works in the business world. Now, when you don't really mention this at the very beginning, it's a little sketchy, but I get it. You'd probably spook some people, all right. But when you aren't even worth 1/10 of that investment, and you go against the community, you ban people who are mentioning, you act like nothing ever happened, I mean, that's where the scammy part comes in, right? It'll be a disgrace to further communicate with BitIndia. However, I'm sure they're going to attempt this on plenty of other coins out there. So that's why I made this video today. I also want to remind you guys, seeing that these guys are from India, 5 Bitcoin is quite a hefty bit over there for those workers. They are making a lot of money if even one person dedicates that 5 Bitcoin to them. BitIndia did try and cover up its traces by saying that, hey, DeepIndia lost because sure they won the competition, but it was unfair. It is a coin. This was only for tokens. It was only for ERC20s, right? And then people took screenshots and noticed that, well, no, because BitIndia on its own Facebook reported, hey, any coin/tokens. So, I mean, it sucks that this happened. It was a waste of time, but you now know that a lot of these exchanges, especially the ones under 100,000 daily visitors, if they do ask for any amount, I mean, the smaller amounts, if it's a couple $100, whatever, big deal, right? Maybe it's worth it. Who knows? Most likely it's not. But if it's a couple $1,000s or 5 or 6 figures, goodbye. You got to report that to other people so other ICOs, other tokens, other coins, other people are able to understand this. The treatment here was just unfair. And I guess that wraps it up. So the only exchanges worth paying for are the ones who can actually increase your volume. You're always looking for ROI, return on your investment. There is no ROI that I can see in the near future, let alone long-term future of this for any coin or token. DeepIndia being that it is a hefty community, everybody's working closely together, everybody started going against BitIndia and they started banning people from the Telegram group. I mean, the word itself is just like, it's like Voldemort over there. So, I mean, that was just a stupid process over there. They probably could be making good money if they decided to actually go reasonable. Hey, whatever, we get it. I mean, a lot of these coins wouldn't mind paying them. They'd be upset, but they wouldn't mind paying them if it was something like a couple $100. That I would understand. It's not an amazing strategy, but it would work. 5 figures though. Goodbye. My name is Michael Kubera. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please do a like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if not, maybe you're one of the BitIndia exchange owners. Bye. Good morning.